Welcome to Life Study Library. This is your host, Lai Yosh. You're listening to part 3 of the Expressive Writing series. We're continuing on from the previous video, so if you haven't seen that one yet, please make sure to go do that. And if you haven't seen anything from this series, the first video is also down in the description, along with the second one, yes. Please enjoy the video, and if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe to Life Study Library so I can make more videos about science and psychology. Okay, the second one from the 4 types of regret is called boldness regret. This one is you regretting about not applying for that job, or not standing up for someone, or not asking out that hottie for a date. These kinds of actions with uncertain outcomes that you want to take but did not. Where foundation regrets concerns you regretting your unpreparedness, typically due to a sense of unurgency, boldness regret is mainly about you regretting decisions that were over-conservative in situations where some amount of impulsivity was warranted. I feel like this is the most common one out of the 4, and its negative effects are definitely a problem, but there is a way to learn from this to experience improved quality of life, so let me explain how you can do this. You may have noticed already, but the main reason that creates boldness regret is you not coming out of your comfort zone. Think back to moments when you made a decision about anything, maybe when you were having dinner at a restaurant you've never been to, and because the thought of eating hoden felt a little unfamiliar, you passed on that, only to later discover that it was a very rare delicacy. You might say, well, I'm glad I didn't need to experience hoden after I figured out what it was, but is that really so? You don't have to agree with the point of this example, but the message should be received. If you make the safe bet every single time, then you'll for sure miss out on new or rare experiences. It doesn't have to be food, just apply any example that you think is important to you. I made a point in the last video that regrets about what you didn't do follows you around much longer than regrets about what you did. And this is actually due to the potential other future that is now unknown. Just think about whatever experience you didn't have and now wish you'd done it. I'm sure there are many. Number 3 is moral regrets. This is about you doing or saying something that goes against your moral beliefs, which the book says is the type of regret that lasts the longest and affects your life the greatest. When you betray something that helped establish a part of your identity as a person, it'll obviously hurt a lot, and within it, moral regrets can be divided into its own 5 pillars. They are 1. Regrets by harm, physically or verbally hurting someone. 2. Regrets by cheating, betraying your peers and people from your social environment. 3. Regrets by disloyalty, similar to regrets by cheating, but this one is more towards groups of people or like a team. 4. Regrets by subversion, doing something slimy in a societal sense. And 5. Regrets by desecration, betraying or damaging of a cultural or religious significance. And that was basically everything I need to talk about concerning moral regrets. On to the 4th one, which is connection regrets, which is about regretting not having established an ideal relationship with those around you. This can be relationships between parents and children, siblings, friends, a group of people, pretty much any social relationship that you weren't able to build. A typical example might be something like you and this other person got into a quarrel and separated, and even though you two have the chance to return and settle things down, or even resolve that crack, you neglect to do so from many things, like awkwardness, or like an unsettled irritation, or even things like physical distance that convinces you that the relationship is a goner. The book I talked about says that some connection regrets are open door regrets, and some are closed door regrets. The difference between the two is that closed door regrets represent relationships where the opportunity to reconnect has passed, maybe due to one side of the relationship passing, or the methods of reconnecting, like a phone number, not being available anymore. Much more common are relationships with an open door, and the book explains that the reason why we don't use this opportunity to connect back with the other person, even though we wish to do so, is because we drastically overestimate the negative emotions the other person have towards us, and we underestimate the possibility of them not hating us as much as we think. In social psychology, this is called pluralistic ignorance, where we mistakenly assume that what we believe differs from other people's beliefs, and so you and the other person both wish to reconnect, but wrongfully believe that their desire is one-sided. What you can do to resolve this issue is pretty straightforward. Just take action and try to reconnect if opportunity is available. Or another useful method is to imagine the possibility that they are thinking about the same thing, wanting to reconnect, but are thinking that you don't want to. Well, do you? Of course, with the method of reconnection missing, it would be much more difficult, but if that's not the case, then you should give it a try. Now, some people might be concerned that by reconnecting, you might reignite the reason of your separation. And yeah, that might happen, but might also not. There still is a chance for you and the other person to correct mishaps and rebuild the relationship. If that doesn't happen, it surely sucks, but it'll only make the decision to fully cut ties with them much easier and obvious than to continue dangling in that connection-esque thing, doesn't it? And once the relationship ends, you can just go back to whatever you were doing the moment before, now concretely knowing that the relationship was meant to end right there. I may be sounding a little harsh, but this relates to the essence of what a regret is, a feeling of uncertainty and doubt you'll feel after imagining that a better option might have been available. But of course, if you are going to commit to action, you'll have to deal with whatever consequences you end up with. I'll just say that to make sure I'm not persuading you to go a certain direction. This part is just my opinion. I have no responsibility for the outcomes. Alright, there you have it, y'all. The basics of the 4 core regrets. Thank you for watching until the end. In the next video, I'll take a deeper dive into the emotion of regret, and we'll talk about specific methods and techniques you can use to turn that emotion of regret into power and make use of your regret. So yeah, be excited about that. My recommended book of the day is, obviously, The Power of Regret: How Looking Backward Moves Us Forward by Daniel H. Pink. And I got other books that you might find interest in the description, so check them out. For my video recommendation, I've been continuously talking about regrets from the past and worries about the future in my 3 or 4 most recent videos, so I think any of them can help. I'll also have the links to those in the description. That was it for today's video. You've been watching Life Study Library, hosted by me, Lai Yosh. Thank you for watching until the end, and I'll see you in another video. Ciao!